Okay, look, I took like a day, maybe 2 days away from YouTube, and the whole cruise industry was like, hold my beer, we've got something to do here. We had flames shooting hundreds of feet in the air atop a Carnival ship. We have a Royal Caribbean, one of their largest ships ever built, their Oasis class, smashing through docks in Jamaica. What the heck's going on? Let's talk about it. Roll the intro. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. And how's your weekend going? Is it like a barbecue weekend for you? It's a long one, right? I assume it's a lot better than Carnivals and Royal Caribbeans, at least in light of the news we're about to talk about. But before all that, it's time to start with the question of the day. And in light of the fact that we have a cruise ship funnel that's now turned into a toasted marshmallow, or should I say a burnt marshmallow, let's just make that the question of the day. When you roast your marshmallows, do you like them burnt, like on fire, or just like perfectly browned? Let me know your answer down in the comments below this video. And yes, I'm allowed to make a little bit of light of this situation because no one was actually injured in the incident that occurred aboard the Carnival Freedom the other day down in Grand Turk. However, the cruise ship itself definitely looks more like one of those well-done marshmallows right now, if you ask me. Now, if you haven't already seen the videos or the pictures that came out of the incident, where the heck have you been? I'll just go ahead and play a little bit of video footage and we'll quickly go back over what happened to cause this crazy fire on board the Carnival Freedom. So the Cliff Notes version here of the story is that the Freedom was docked in Grand Turk early Thursday morning. There were about 2,500 guests on board the ship, as well as about 1,000 crew members, when a fire broke out up top in the funnel on the ship. Now, it looks like it occurred in the starboard side, which is the right-hand side of the ship. Now, because of the fire, the ship's not going to be carrying passengers anytime soon, looking like it does. It needs to go in for an emergency dry dock. And in response, Carnival Cruise Line, well, they're leaving their passengers in Grand Turk for an extra 2 nights. They rushed the Carnival Conquest over to pick up those passengers. In fact, the ship should be there now picking them up in Grand Turk. Now, the Carnival Freedom, she's not going to be coming back here to Port Canaveral as was originally planned. She'll now be going to Freeport in the Bahamas for an emergency dry dock. And the cruise line has already canceled all of the cruises on board the Freedom through the first week of June. And I would anticipate this cancellation could extend a week or two beyond the first week of June. Just looking at what Carnival is going to have to come up with. They have to basically pull a funnel out of thin air for this ship, a very custom piece, let alone investigate the cause of the fire. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen a fire like this on board a cruise ship, in a very similar area of the ship too. A few years back, the Royal Caribbean Freedom of the Seas also had, like I said, a similar fire start up in the smokestack system. So in that instance, they had to install a scrubber system to clean the inside of their funnel. And I'm not saying that's what the Carnival Freedom needs, but I'm not saying that's not what she needs. Remember, these ships sat empty, not getting the best of servicing throughout the pandemic. I mean, the cruise lines were running them with a skeleton crew, and you gotta save money somewhere if you're not making any and actually losing billions every quarter. And some of the extra maintenance probably suffered a little bit throughout the pandemic, if you ask me. So it's not really surprising that something like this would have cropped up. Thank your lucky stars that it happened when the ship was in port and not when it was out in the middle of the sea. And luckily enough, the Mardi Gras was right next door to also lend assistance. It really couldn't have happened in a better place aside from maybe back here in Port Canaveral with the ship being back on time. But all said, everyone made it off the ship safely without injury. The firefighting crew on board the Freedom did an admirable, fantastic job. And congratulations to everybody on the crew on that ship for keeping everyone safe on board. So that's the 411 on the Carnival Freedom. We'll go ahead and keep monitoring the situation to see if we learn exactly what happened to cause that crazy looking fire that took social media by storm just the other day. I literally picked the worst of the worst days to not do YouTube. Sheesh. And now that we're done talking about toasting marshmallows on the top deck of a cruise ship, why don't we talk about one cruise ship that did a really bad parallel parking the other day? That, of course, is Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas. How many of you out there have done a bad job parallel parking? Like, you find the perfect spot, but there's a bunch of traffic waiting behind you, you're turning the wheel and all that, trying to judge where you're going, you get anxious, you make bad decisions, you scrape the wheels on the curb, or you hop up the curb altogether, who knows? Ugh, I know we've all been there. But Harmony of the Seas was trying to come into birth in Falmouth, Jamaica, when according to video that was released on social media and eyewitnesses in the area, she smashed through one of the mooring pylons there that was in the harbor. Now, the incident caused minor damage to the ship, and the Ministry of Tourism had to investigate what happened to determine who was at fault, and lucky for the captain of the Harmony of the Seas, it was determined to be the harbor pilot there in Jamaica who was responsible for backing over the dock extension. Now, the whole incident went down on May 26th, and the dock is already being repaired. And as far as Harmony of the Seas, well, she could use one of those bumper stickers that says like, ouch, you know what I'm saying? When you see people driving in front of you, they got like a dinghy on their car and they just put that joke sticker to make light of it. Yeah, we need to get one of those for cruise ships like Harmony of the Seas. Am I right? Now, according to Royal Caribbean, the ship only suffered cosmetic damage and like dents and paint scrapes, and it's been deemed seaworthy. And according to reports I've actually been able to source from pretty reliable places, most of the damage has already been repaired on the ship. The crew went out there with their paintbrushes and shoop, 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 got it all ship shape. So if you're out there and cruising and you run across the Harmony of the Seas, try and get behind the ship and send me a picture of the back end. Let me know how that damage is looking. Has it been repaired? Now, we need to talk about a US-based cruise port that says no more Carnival ships after 2024. Carnival is literally getting kicked to the curb here, and we're gonna talk about it as soon as I remind you I have an Amazon store for cruising. And it's an amazing place if you're a cruiser like myself. I sell my own line of t-shirts like this one, Cruise Life. There's also plenty of things like passport covers and everything else to make your cruise so much easier and such a better experience. Almost everything in the store costs $8 to $20. It all ships on Prime in a couple days, and it's a great way to get yourself amazing cruise products and help support this channel. Keeps me cruising and delivering the cruise news. If you'd like to check it out, there's an affiliate link in the description below. Go ahead and click it and find the Professional Cruisers tab in my store. You'll see everything I take with me every time I cruise. Let's talk about Carnival getting evicted from the port of Charleston. Yeah, this is a thing. According to Carnival Cruise Line and the Port Authority of South Carolina, Carnival's lease in Charleston is not going to be extended when it ends in 2024. And that means that the Carnival Sunshine, which arguably has the nicest Serenity deck in the entire Carnival fleet, the thing is amazing. There's a reason I picked it for my group cruise. Well, that ship is going to now find herself homeless and need a new place to go. Dear Carnival Cruise Line, Port Canaveral would be a great place for the Sunshine. Sunshine in the Sunshine, just saying. Hey, remember, I am hosting a group cruise on the Sunshine later this year on October 24th out of Charleston. So if you want to take maybe your last opportunity to cruise from that historic port, well, it's a great time to cruise with me. Have a good time, and if you'd like more information, there's a link to a Facebook page for the group cruise down below in the description. Now, Charleston claims they're kicking Carnival out to make more space to redevelop the cruise terminal. So if that means they're planning on bringing Carnival back in the future, or they're maybe dating another cruise line, and they just don't want Carnival, or maybe they just want smaller ships, who knows? It remains to be seen. But in the meantime, Carnival is going to be saying bon voyage to Charleston in 2 years' time. Hey, before we get to our next story about the COVID risk level being raised yet again for the most popular cruise destination I can think of, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel here, my channel, Midships. If you'd like to stay up to date with all of the cruise news delivered to you in just a nice condensed format that's hopefully a little bit fun. And I'd like to remind you that just the other day I uploaded my first ever cruise vlog for embarkation day for the MSC Divina. If you'd like to check it out, it'll be waiting for you at the end of today's episode. Now let's get into this story coming out from the CDC. This is for all of you who are more at risk for COVID or just more COVID conscious. I do want to make you aware that earlier this week, the CDC raised the warning level for COVID to high down in the Bahamas. So if you're cruising down that way and that's something you're concerned about, just know that this warning level has gone from a level 2 moderate risk up to a level 3 high risk. And the highest warning level would be a level 4, which we have already seen for a good portion of the pandemic, while cruises were operating into the Bahamas. So if you made it this far into today's episode, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And the YouTube algorithm thanks you as well for that thumbs up and maybe even a share of this cruise news episode. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. And tomorrow, let me bring the light around here. Tomorrow, I'm planning to go out to Jetty Park and maybe check out some cruise ships. Harmony of the Seas might be pulling into port, which we'll see if she's still damaged. Pretty interesting stuff. We'll check you tomorrow. Have a good one. La